Hello, class. This is Demetrius Wilson. This is Marketing, Chapter 7, Developing and Managing Offerings. So, we have to talk about what type of offerings are included in products, services, and products and services combined. Developing and managing offering. Developing new products for companies is a constant process. If you're not developing new products, you will probably go out of business because whatever older product you have, unless it's something that everybody needs and no changes need to occur, then you're going to need to develop a new product. Some quote unquote new offerings may be only improved versions of existing offerings. So, for instance, like a NutriBullet. So, everybody had the regular NutriBullet, then they said, okay, let's come up with this new, bigger, deluxe model. So, new offerings, new features on it, but it's the same product. But you have to continue to advance and excel, or your product will become extinct. So learning objectives. Identify an effective process for creating offerings and bringing them to market. So we want to create the offerings and then we want to bring them to market. It doesn't matter if you create the offerings and you don't bring them to market because you're not going to make any money because nobody's going to purchase them. Understand the relative importance of each step in the new offering development process and the functions within each step. So we're going to talk about the step-by-step process, quite interesting. Distinguish between the various forms of testing and analysis that take place before the new offering is brought to market. So you have to test the product. You have to see, does it do what you say it's going to do? So if I created a new stove and I didn't test it to make sure the stove doesn't blow up, I'm not going to make any money because the stove is going to get out there to all the consumers. It's going to blow up, burn people's houses down, and then they're going to sue me for all the money that I made for selling the stove. Here is the offering development 7 steps. So first you have your idea right here. Ideas can come from anywhere. So it could come from the janitor. It could come from the president. Wherever the idea came from, it was a good idea. It's a good idea. Then we go to screening. Does it fit the firm's message? Is it profitable? So one, it has to be in alignment with what your company wants to do. And is it profitable? You want to make money, right? You don't want to lose money on the product. Then you have your features. What do customers want? So what do they want? You have to have what the customers want. Give the people what they want. If you don't have what they want, then they're going to go buy something else. Then you want to make prototypes and define manufacturing. That goes in under development, right? So you want to develop your offerings, develop your products. So you want to make prototypes. So we're going to make, this is what it's going to look like. This is what the stove is going to look like. And then we define manufacturing. This is how we're going to put it together. Then you go to a test, so you have alpha and then you have your beta testing as well. So develop and test market communication plans. So not only do you want to develop the product and test it, you also want to develop and test the communication, right? You want to get a focus group in there and say, hey, let's talk about, if you heard this message, would you come buy my stove? Or if you heard this message, would it turn you off and would you never come buy the stove? Commercialization, the market launch. So you're going to launch it. It needs to be a lot of fanfare behind it. Commercials, internet ads, banner ads, things like that. In the newspapers, you want to get people behind it. You want to get the wholesalers and merchandisers and the retailers all excited about your product. Then you want to monitor the progress, and that's the evaluation part. And evaluation is all throughout. You want to evaluate from when it hits the market to maturity to decline. You're in a continuous process of evaluation to see what you can do better, to see what you did bad that you can fix, and to see what you did well that you can improve upon. Key takeaways, as always, I want you guys to read those on your own. Most companies put new offering ideas through a 7-step process that you just looked at. Make sure that you know and understand that 7-step process because it's very important to know how that flows for your quiz and for your test. So be sure to read key takeaways. More learning objectives. Explain how organizations manage offerings after being introduced to the marketplace. So they're introduced to the marketplace. So how do you manage those offerings? Do they change? Do you get a little bit more of this? Do you get a little bit less of that? Explain how managing an offering may be different in international markets, right? Some translations may be different in international markets. Certain things you can do in the U.S. that you can't do there. Certain things you can do there, but you can't do domestically in the United States. Explain the product's life cycle and objectives and strategies for each stage, right? So all the products follow the same life cycle, but it just depends on how long it is. You might be in maturity for a long time with a certain product, and then you might be in the growth stage for a long time for a different product. It just depends on how it does in the marketplace. And speaking of the product life cycle, It includes the stages the product goes from through development, from introduction to the end of the product. So we develop it to the very end. We no longer sell it, and somebody has some storage unit full of non-usable Snuggies. The PLC, or the product lifecycle, is a beneficial tool that helps marketers manage the stages of the product, acceptance, and success in the marketplace. So once people accept it, and then you start to have success, and then you go into your growth phase. Not all products go through all stages, and the length of the stages vary. So not all products. Some products may just go to growth and then decline, right? No maturity. Or some may just go to maturity, stay there for a long time, and then go straight to decline, right? It varies. It depends on what type of product. So think in your mind the different types of products that you bought or that you see in the marketplace, and do all of them have the same amount of longevity? No, they definitely do not. So not all products go through all stages, and the length of the stages that each of these go through, they vary. So here's the traditional stages. Introduction, right? Gets introduced to the market. You see growth, right? Now we're on the uprise. We're starting to make some money, right? And you see profits goes along with this bell curve. Maturity, right? So it's starting to get mature, and that's when we're at our best. We're going from growth to maturity. And then right here is where it's all down here. Now you start making different plans because now you're on the decline. Sales are going down. Profits are going down. Everything's on the decline. So now you need that exit strategy. What are we going to, are we going to sell these at a lower price so that we make sure we, get compensated for the extra ones that we have? And then do we move on to another product, or do we enhance upon this product? So the product life cycle factors. Life cycles vary for different categories of products, as we discussed. Some products never experience success, right? So some products get out there and they just fail. It happens. This is business. Some products remain in phases longer. Like I said, some stay in that maturity phase and growth phase longer, and they make lots of money. Computer products have limited cycles, and we talk about that some things they make because they want them to have a limited cycle so that you can buy more of their stuff in 3 years. Jewelry and kitchen products have longer cycles. How products are marketed can vary throughout its life cycle. And global differences may also affect the phases in the life cycle, right? Anything globally or internationally could affect it as well. Product introduction phase. So marketing costs are high at this stage. So you introduce it, marketing costs are going to be high because you're getting it out there, getting the word out there, getting the name out there. Profits are low and non-existent during or due to R&D, which is research and development, and other costs, right? Because you have to do your research, development, testing, analysis. Distribution channels are limited to early adopters, right? So the people who get behind it, they say, hey, this is a great product. You show it to them, they test, they say, hey, can I take one home? Can I sell one to my friends? Can they buy one? They're early adopters. They're going to get behind your product. Pricing strategies can vary and may be based on skimming or penetration objectives. So, on how quickly you want to penetrate the actual market. The growth stage. Acceptance. People accept it. So when the product is accepted by the market, it enters into the growth phase. Acceptance attracts competitors. So if people accept it, people see your product doing well, then they want to get in on that market because they want to make some money just like you're making. Increasing sales and attractive profits encourage competition. Growth requires sufficient inventory. So if it grows, then you're going to have to sell more. So you're going to have to make more, right? I sell a bunch of Snuggies. Now I need to make more Snuggies because everybody wants the Snuggies. They're giving them away for Christmas and birthday gifts. Expanding a product's distribution and increasing its production to ensure availability. Because people want them, you must supply them with what they need. Growth and distribution, having the product in the right place at the right time. So right place, right, at the right time. I went to the store, it's the right place, they're going to have it, but I went at the wrong time because they're not going to have it till February. It means expanded presence in order to serve the increasing demand, so it has to get out to more people, more places. Products costs remain high during the growth phase, right? So we're growing, so the price is going to stay up there. Price doesn't go down until you start to decline because now it's a lot of competition or people just don't want the product. Now we can lower the price so other people can buy it. Growth phase pricing. So pricing typically remains constant. So some of the competitors may reduce prices in order to gain share. So we're all at the same price point. I'm going to lower my price point because I want more people to buy my bikes, right? So your price is still higher than mine. I lowered $20. They come to buy my bike instead of yours. Companies look to increase profits during this phase from increased sales. The maturity phase. Products like people reach a stage of maturity or leveling off of growth, right? So now you're no longer growing. You may flatline for a little bit, and then it's going to get to that decline phase. Sales level off as demand as demand erodes and sales are largely due to replacement or repeat users as opposed to new customers. So for instance, I have a NutriBullet. If my NutriBullet breaks, then I'm going to purchase another NutriBullet that is a replacement. I'm not a new customer. It's just a replacement. So if you're only dealing with replacement, people with replacement purchases, then you're definitely going to start to go into the decline phase. This phase can last longer, meaning the maturity phase, and only the strongest suppliers will survive, right? So if you're not stronger, your price point is not where it needs to be, people don't know about your product, then you're going to fail. How can you extend the life cycle is obviously what companies want to know. So you can enter into new markets. You can take these, parts and turn them into something else. You can modify target markets. So you say, used to do, just regular juicing. So let's now change this and let's do restaurant style juicing where we can sell this to them and they can, do things. And that's a limited market there because, you'll run out of, how many restaurants you can sell to. And then you may have to go back to the consumer market or do something different. Modify your marketing strategy, right? So change how you're marketing things, and then add new features, right? Now the NutriBullet you can put on your back, and it turns into a jetpack, and it'll make you fly. Modifying products to extend maturity, so you have your packaging, so redesign and repackage. Put a different wig on it, and people think it looks totally different and buy it more. Quality, adding new features that extend use. So you add these new features to it, extends the use a little bit longer. And quantity, increasing the amount purchased for the same price. You know what? NutriBullet was $100. I'm going to sell two now for $100. So now you can get one. You can give one away as a gift, or now you can, juice up, two drinks at the same time. Whatever you want to do with it. So, just very interesting that you can increase the quantity of what's sold for the same price, and people will turn around and buy it and say, "Oh, that's a good deal." People love deals, right? It might not even be something that you want, or that you not that you want, something that you need. But they're going to get it because it's a good deal. Extending a life cycle through new markets, so you could go global. Maybe we didn't sell NutriBullets in China. We're going to go to China and sell them now. Substitute products, right? So, now we're going to say we're going to substitute this in for something different. It's going to replace something else. Nobody thought about us using the NutriBullet for this, but this is how we're going to use it. And then online. Now we're going to go and put it online. And we'll talk about this in a later chapter about how a lot of times companies that produce something and then they sell it it goes through, through the cycle with merchandising and retailers, and they want to sell the product. But then the people who create the product, they have those products online, and sometimes people have a problem with that, and I can understand that. So you sell me all of your NutriBullets, and I'm Sears, and I'm going to, try and sell them, but you also have it online. So some people are going to buy it online. Everybody's not going to buy it from Sears. So, some, problems and concerns and conversations come up due to that. Then we get to the decline stage. Product sales decrease at an increasing rate. Technology obsoletes products. Fads generally have short lives. Fashion changes life cycles, right? You're not going to be wearing the same thing that you're wearing right now in 10 years. Harvesting of products is accomplished through reducing costs to maintain profits. And then modifying products during maturity may avoid a decline phase like we talked about. So if you modify the product, maybe you'll live to fight another day like G.I. Joe. Takeaways, the product life cycle helps a company understand the stages. So introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. Make sure you know and understand those stages before you take the Chapter 7 quiz. A product or service may go through once it's launched to the marketplace. And then obviously if you don't have acceptance, then you won't have success in the marketplace. So this was a pretty quick PowerPoint deck for Chapter 7. There were only 22 slides. They're a little bit more on Chapter 8, about 40 something, so double the amount. So Chapter 7, pretty easy breezy on that one. So make sure that you, obviously if you got to the end of this, you've watched the video. Make sure you watch your supplemental videos. Take your Chapter 7 quiz. Then you'll go on to watching your Chapter 8 lecture video. Take your Chapter 8 quiz. And then we'll have another test coming soon, and that test will be on chapters 5, 6, 7, and 8. So as always, be sure to review everything, and I want you all to have a good day and a great week.